that you might want to upgrade within the home prior to selling. Now, here are some strategic approaches that you should consider doing in your home to ensure that you get the best possible outcome. What's going on, guys? Thank you so much for tuning in to another video here in Living in El Paso. I'm 𝐓𝐢𝐻𝐽𝐻, and in today's video, I want to talk to you guys about some key components that you should ensure you have done in your property prior to actually having people start viewing the home. I've talked to you guys in the last video about some tips that you might want to upgrade within the home prior to selling. Now, here are some strategic approaches that you should consider doing in your home to ensure that you get the best possible outcome. So with that being said, let's dive deep. Now, the first one I want to talk to you guys about is having a surveillance system in your house, okay? This means cameras and this means audio. Now, this is something that not everybody feels the same way about, and again, to each their own. However, if I'm gonna have somebody coming in through one of my clients' property or my property, I want to make sure that I know who is coming in and what is coming out of my home, okay? It's never happened to me personally, thank God, but there has been other situations where I've talked to realtors that they had something that was missing in the home, something that happened in the home, and they had no recording of this, and that is definitely not fun. Having recording is super important to just ensure that you are knowing what's going on in your house. Now, on a quick tip there, make sure you have a sign that actually discloses that you are recording. Just put like surveillance equipment in progress, something along those lines that will advise and obviously bring awareness around the fact that you do have this happening. And even if you don't, the fact that it's there, now they won't know if it is or not. So little side note there. But honestly, it comes in your best interest. And I've noticed that people that know they're being recorded tend to act a lot better than people that did not. So keep that in mind. Now, tip number 2 I want to share with you goes hand in hand with having your surveillance system, and that is keep your utilities on, okay? I don't know what agent out there once told their client, hey, it's okay, turn off all your utilities, you're out of the house, don't worry about it. That is the worst thing you can do. And the reason for that is because you have no water, you have no electricity, and maybe the gas component is not a huge deal at the beginning, but it definitely can. If you have somebody like myself, I'm gonna turn on all the burners to see if it's working. And even when you do the inspection, when the buyer comes in and says, hey, I'm gonna do an inspection on the property, I love it, I wanna see what's going on. If the actual inspector does not have the, again, utilities turned on, they can inspect most of the things, and then you're gonna have a very, very upset buyer, because now they have to resend the person because you turned off all the utilities. Now, another thing to that is make sure you leave, like, I know it's not something you want to have people coming and using your restroom, but we're humans, right? And things are going to happen, and there's going to be that little kid that needs to use the restroom, or there's going to be that big adult that needs to use the restroom. Have your restroom ready. This is going to allow you to ensure that, again, they don't actually end up leaving anything behind that should not be left behind, but at the same time, it avoids that if you didn't have the water going on, now they just left whatever they had to leave behind, and not the best way. So keeping that in mind is super important to make sure that your house is as presentable as possible for the next people that are going to be touring the home. Now, a quick tip to that as well is ensuring that you take off all the mats in your bathrooms, okay? You know those like big fluffy ones? I'm not a fan of those. Don't come for me. I was at one point in my life. But now I have like the big bamboo ones. If you have like the bamboo ones, something that looks nice and aesthetically pleasing, cool. Even those, honestly, if you think about it, you don't want somebody stepping on the mat that you are going to use when you get out of the shower. So if you can declutter and just take them out, a lot better, but for sure, take the fuzzy ones off, okay? It just doesn't look good, and at the end of the day, people are gonna step on them, so when you get out of the shower, again, that's kind of gross, right? You're gonna end up stepping on the ones that people already like stepped on with their shoes, so not fun. Now, another tip I want to talk to you about is making sure you have an upgrades list ready. This includes anything that is actual facts, okay? I don't want you to put, I have the best neighbors, or I have the best routes to whatever it is. Add things that are tangible and not things that are just your feelings of that property. Things such as, I upgraded the landscaping and we put over $10,000 worth in X, Y, and Z, or we did a new countertop, we did an upgraded water softener. Things that are actually facts that could allow for when the people come, you have this nice little brochure showing all the details of what it is that you want to showcase on your property. Now, this next one is one of my personal favorites, and I talked a little bit about it on my last video, so check that one out if you have more questions about just things that you should upgrade in the home. But smelling good, it is a non-negotiable, okay? I am telling you and telling you and telling you, it happens time and time again. People will walk into a house, they see it, it looks beautiful, and then they get that little smell. And that smell is enough to make you run. If you can do something about it, make sure that you clean it out professionally, make sure that you have Fabuloso, make sure that you clean it to the best of your abilities if you're not hiring a crew to clean it for you, and make sure that you have somebody actually give you the honest opinion. In this case, I'm hoping that you have a realtor that will be brutally honest with you, but actually find out if it smells good, because if it does not, it is going to cost you a lot of money, because you're going to end up steering away a lot of people that would potentially have found your house beautiful because it didn't smell the best. They're not going to consider it as an option for them and their family. So ensuring you have that taken care of is super helpful, and don't overdo it, okay? Don't like overdo it, because sometimes there's some fragrances that are just not favorable, and then you just like overdid it and you're like, Alexa, well, do you want me to smell good? Do you want me to smell bad? We want neutral as possible, okay? Something that is going to be, I mean, I like personally a lot of the like cedar, musky notes that are more like, I'm not sure if you've ever been to, you know what that store is, Abercrombie. Like when you pass through Abercrombie, if you have an Abercrombie, you know that like scent that you're like, oh, this smells kind of good. I haven't shopped in Abercrombie in years, since I was like a teenager, but I still remember that scent. And I still remember that scent because it is so powerful. And scents actually play a psychology factor, okay? So if you didn't know that, at casinos, at like certain restaurants, they release scents because they want to make you be in this like mindset of like either buying, or they want to put you in this mindset of like spending more money. I'm telling you, it's a real thing. So making sure that you just find out what is the best scent that could be as neutral as possible. I'll link some down below if you're interested, but just make sure that it smells good. Now this next one is like if you can, you don't have to take this to heart, but if you can, paint the interior of your home in neutral colors. Why? This is going to make it look so much bigger, so much newer. And if for some reason you have kids just like I do, and they just did those little things that they do with their hands, and you can paint it to make it look nice again, do it, okay? You can go buy a gallon of, paint at the Home Depot, paint it yourself, or hire somebody, whatever it is you feel more comfortable with, but just make sure it looks good, because if not, you're gonna leave money on the table simply because somebody's gonna come in and they're gonna have an agent that's gonna be somebody like me, and it's gonna be like, well, this and this and this and this and this and this and this is wrong. So we want either a price deduction or we want some closing costs, depending on the situation of the house, of course. But just make sure that if you're the seller and you wanna get as much as you can, do the things that are very easily done that to somebody else might seem very hard to do. Also, as a side note, if you have like very like bright colors like pinks and yellows and oranges, I'm telling you, people will see that and be like, it's gonna cost me a lot of money to paint this back to a color that is neutral. So if you can paint it, that's a big plus for you, okay? Now this following tip is something that you actually wanna make sure is done, because when the inspector goes out, they're going to flag it. Make sure that all your light bulbs are working, okay? Because if not, they will label it as inoperable. Make sure that all your smoke detectors are installed and your COs are connected, okay? If you don't have your CO detectors, if you don't have your light bulbs, and if you don't have your smoke detectors, you're going to end up having an inspection report that's gonna come back and say inoperable light bulbs. And then that's gonna flag a big concern on the buyers and be like, is it the electrical? Now do we have problems with electricity? No, just fix the light bulb, right? $7, buy one, make sure it's there and it's ready to go, okay? And also the Smoke detectors are super cheap. And also the COs, you can buy them. Literally, you connect them. They have some on Amazon. And then you just literally, again, have it set up. You have to put the date of when it was installed and you're good, okay? Now this following tip is going to be something that is definitely helpful. You don't have to do it, but it is very helpful. Doing an inspection before you put it on the market, okay? Putting an inspection done and actually showcasing it as inspection has been completed, this has been fixed already, and this is what we're gonna sell it as is. It avoids so many back and forths. It allows you to come to the table with a actual position of strength versus a position of weakness, because you're telling the buyer, hey, this is what my house has. This is what I'm willing to do, and this is what I'm not willing to do. And either you take it or you leave it, but this is what it is. And that now you know for a fact, for instance, let's say your roof is like in really bad condition, put yourself in that position. Would you want to buy that house? And if the answer is no, fix it. Go through your insurance carrier, tell them, hey, my roof situation is bad. I need to get this fixed, and have it done. Because if you don't, then you're gonna run into that problem. And then when the inspection comes back from the buyers and the buyer's agent comes to you and says, well, not you, but your agent, hopefully at this point you've already chosen who you're gonna work with. But then they're gonna say, hey, well, you know what? I wanted the house at this price, but because of these things, now we need a price reduction, and now we need some closing costs because my client doesn't feel comfortable and they found another house on the market, and now they want to move forward with that house, unless you can make it happen. So avoid that by getting an inspection report and ask your agent if there's anything they can do for you, okay? Because some of us, we work some deals out for our clients. So just ask them, okay? And the last thing that I'm gonna leave you with is finding the right agent, because if you have the right agent, I'm telling you, they're gonna give you all of these tips plus more, and they're gonna make sure that they're taking care of you. Again, you can do all of this yourself. That's never been a matter of a question. It's just a matter of the sense of knowing that it's gonna be done the right way and knowing that everything is taken care of versus you stressing yourself out. I know I could figure out how to fix my car, but I wouldn't actually fix my car because that's time consuming, and some other fella or girl has a lot more knowledge than I do, and they're gonna do it, and they're gonna do it right the first time, versus me trying to figure it out on YouTube and then hope that my car doesn't break down while I'm on the freeway. So hire the right agent. Whether you are in Texas and considering buying or selling here, we can help you. We do have a business for referrals with our agents that we trust, that we feel comfortable with, so we can recommend you to them. We will have a form down below. Enter your information, and if you're looking to relocate into a specific area, just let us know and we would be more than happy to help you. With that being said, I want to thank you so much for all the continued support. I'm wishing you many well wishes in your journey, and I will talk to you guys on the next one.